Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Welcome, everyone, to Texas Songwriters Alliance Audio Impact on Lone Star Community Radio. I'm your host, Alex Lozano, and before we get started with our special musical guest, singer, songwriter, producer, Joe Crump, we have our shows that we recommend each week, so let's go ahead and get with them. Tonight at House of Blues, Kerry King, ex-guitar player for Slayer. You might have heard of that band. They're a pretty heavy outfit. Also Friday, for you Frank Sinatra fans, we have the Sinatra Experience at Elixir Lounge in Spring, Texas. Then at House of Blues, we have a romantic blues with Steve Gilbert and one of my favorite artists and a friend of mine, the one and only Mighty Orc. He's going to be there. Also, Kirky TJ will also be playing there. And then Friday, Tits Out, which is a Plasmatics tribute band, and Maxi Fades at the Black Magic Social Club in Houston, Texas. And then the one and only, the Mighty Dream Theater will be celebrating their 40th anniversary tour at 713 Music Hall. And then we have Jamie Interzine over at at the Pacific Yard House here in Conroe, Texas. And then for you Valentine lovers out there, we have Sundance Head, the one and only winner of The Voice, Valentine's free show at the Sawyer Park Ice House, where I will be attending and hanging out with him, seeing if he'll come on my show because he's amazing. Also, at the Big Easy is celebrating their 31st anniversary with the one and only Mighty Orc, along with Sean Allen. And then we have also Saturday, Queen Tribute Band on Main Street Crossing. And then Sunday, we have the Kaleidoscope Project, amazing band at Voodoo Hut in Kemah, Texas. Sunday, also UFO Experience with Moving Pictures, the #1 Rush tribute band in Texas. They're absolutely amazing for all you Rush fans out there. And then we ended with Guitar Phenomenon, Marty Friedman over at House of Blues. That is it. We are here with Joe Crump. He's a really good singer-songwriter that I had the privilege of seeing him play a showcase that the month before my band, you were the featured artist, I believe, that night for the Monday thing. And the month before, my band, Acoustic Halo, was. And I thought that was really, really cool. He is also the vice president of the Houston Songwriters Association. And tell us about this first song that you're going to do, Joe.
This first song was, I came up with all the chords and the melody, but sometimes you come up with that and then the lyrical part comes slower. I'm always chords, melody, lyrics in that order, like every time. But sometimes the lyrics come slowly. My garage band's full of tracks of me just humming with
I'm all over the place.
So for the longest time I just had this like, welcome back, my friend, and it's been a long, long time. And I learned those chords from God Only Knows by the Beach Boys. Anyway, that's all I had for like a year and a half. And it taught me the importance of waiting until you're like ready to finish a song.
Patience of a monk.
Yeah, it's hard because a lot of people they think they just bang out a song.
Right.
And I got a song, and it's like,
yeah, I'm the world's slowest songwriter, so yeah,
it's
I
fine.
get it.
It's got to be right. And so, I thought it could be about friends reuniting, but as nice as that is, it sounded kind of not very interesting to me. So then I was going through a divorce at the time. Yeah.
That's a subject matter there.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother. Got a lot of other songs regarding that.
That's a whole album.
Yeah, it is. My favorite vice was of the 420 nature, and my lawyer was telling me that I have to stop that, and because that was the only arrow in her quiver. So
it's funny you say that, but because the Zigzag Man has a tattoo of me on his arm.
All right. Well,
I'm just kidding. I'm not that old. But,
Well, I think the world's coming along, but still. But at any rate, for a year and a half, I didn't partake
Okay.
When it's the kind of tyranny that a family law attorney has over your life is hard to completely convey to someone who hasn't been through it.
No,
she
no,
could have
no,
told
no,
me to do anything and I would have done it.
Right.
But when it was all said and done, I'm sitting on my patio and raised to my lips and I go, "Welcome back, my friend."
Well, how you doing?
Wait a minute. That's my song, So
Bam.
So the
You
whole
had that,
and so the whole the lyrics don't really make sense if you think it's friends reuniting. And for a while I was doing open mics and people were liking it and singing along with it. When I explained that part, they're like, "Oh," and it was like, But anyway, this one's called
Welcome back, old friend.
Yeah, this one's called Welcome Back, and so there's a recording of it done with my former band, The Drift. There's a lot of bands named The Drift, so you have to search The Drift Tech TX on Spotify to find it. And it's called Welcome Back, and they did this really cool reggae version that we're really proud of. So it won't sound like this, but if you want to check it out, you can.
Joe Crump, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back, my friend. Been a long, long time. You were patiently waiting on the vine. When I let you go, faded force my hand. Then I felt so low. Then I had nowhere to go but up, and now it's clear without you. The world is colorless, it's true, but those days are gone. So I wrote this song. People think we're strange. They don't understand. And the minds won't change. Just as long as you're considered contraband, without you, the world is colorless, it's true, but those days are gone. So I wrote this song.
Beautiful, Joe. Your guitar picking, I love. It's you definitely have your own sense of style, and
I'm really into like that flat picking, the Tony Rice stuff that I can't even come close to doing. But the Billy Strings has made it more popular now. But
right. But you're you like I said, you're doing just fine. And that guitar, what kind of guitar? You sound so beautiful.
it's a Collings. Have you heard Collings?
No, I haven't.
I think they make the best guitars in the world. They're
Wow.
company out of Austin. You could take a tour of the factory, but a lot of people are starting to play them. I noticed when I saw Mumford and Sons, they were playing mostly Collings.
Oh wow. Okay.
And so Julian Lange has got a signature Collings for those jazz players.
I play it's a $400 12-string Ibanez, but it was set up by one of the most greatest guitar makers in Texas. His name is Mike Ned. Check out Ned
Ooh,
Guitars.
that name rings a bell.
He's a good friend of mine. He's got all the certificates. He makes I liken his electric guitars at the level of Paul Reed Smith, if not a little bit better, because he's my friend. So it's like, yeah.
Right.
But he set up my 12-string, and when I go to Guitar Center, and I do this percussive finger tapping thing with my band Acoustic Halo, and it's in drop C tuning, but I love that, just to get that music out there, and he's just amazing. He makes it sound like it's a $2,000 guitar when it's only a $400, and that was my point.
Oh yeah, well that
that one sounds amazing, and I've never even heard of Collins before. No clue. First time.
There has to be a licensed dealer. So only Rock and Robin will carry one.
Okay.
They have one or two right now, and usually Fuller's has like 3 or 4.
Right. Wow.
But you won't find it at Guitar Center unless it's used.
Collins guitar, y'all heard it here or first? Tell us a little bit about song number 2.
This one is it's a fun one, kind of a high energy. It's a
Toe tapper.
I have some songs about inebriation, but it's not going to be all like this. But this one was kind of about a time when an ex-girlfriend and I went to the Museum of Fine Arts, and we were not clear-minded, I guess, and so we got lost, and I thought
You can do that there.
Well, I remember thinking like that was the best way to do it, because if you go there with a plan, you're going to see the same stuff all the time.
Right.
And so I found myself in exhibits I wouldn't normally, and then I left thinking like that's kind of a metaphor for like life, isn't it? Like, shouldn't we try new things, foods, music, whatever?
Let's not limit ourselves.
You hear people, I'm sure in music you hear people all the time be like, oh, I like all kinds of music, and then they'll rattle off like country,
right,
and it's like nothing wrong with that, but it's like, man, there's cumbia, there's a lot out there.
There really is.
And so this one's called Art Museum, and this is also you can find
Art Museum.
Art Museum.
I love it. Great name.
Yeah. And you can also find this one at the Drift, Texas, because they did a killer version of that, and which is very different than this version. But yeah, so here it is. It's a dismal plain. The world is a dismal place until you see the star on a canvas in the sky. You better stop to wonder why we're living a life of pain. We're living a life of pain when love is on the ground. Gotta find it 'cause it's hiding in the basements of our heart. Baby, let's get lost in a big art museum. We can lose our bearings, no despair. Think that we have a lot to discover if we open up our hearts and minds tonight. Imagination, take it back. I never know what to say. I never know what to say when people disagree. They think I'm wrong, I'm holding on to what I want them to be. But they shouldn't close their eyes. But they shouldn't close their eyes to all the majesty. Everywhere you see in the world, and yet for us to feed our weary soul. Baby, let's get lost in a big art museum. We can lose our bearings, no despair. Think that we have a lot to discover if we open up our hearts and minds tonight. Imagination take flight. Open your heart to the beautiful art can fill the holes in your withering soul. If you keep it away in your soul decay, and it's never too late to enjoy the buffet. It's been laid out for you, and if you only knew what ubiquitous beauty and passion could do, you make more of an effort to take in the view, 'cause your life loses meaning if you don't pursue the love. Love, 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 love in the world. Baby, let's get lost in a big art museum. We can lose our bearings, no despair. Think that we have a lot to discover if we open up our hearts and minds. Singing, let's get lost in a big art museum. We can lose our bearings, no despair. Think that we have a lot to discover if we open up our hearts and minds tonight. Imagination taking flight.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.
Original. Love it. Great story, too.
It was fun. It was like that rap part. A friend of mine was like, "You need something in that goes ba 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 ba." So I
Yeah.
wish I could say it's like I totally came up with it myself.
Right. Yeah, I definitely picked up on that. You know, I mean, it sounded like I did everything except have a picnic out there. You know.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a fun
that
one to
would
do
be
live
nice.
too because of that rhythm. You know, that.
Oh my God, it's got some movement.
Mm.
It's got some movement. We went to for the first time the Moline collection for the first time, and man, the artwork just mind blowing stuff.
But yeah, that was so that when you hear the Drift version of it, you know, what a great band of guys. I just think that we were kind of meant to do maybe different things because we were all like kind of busy players and maybe better individually than a band. Maybe
Yeah.
some people disagree. But what they did with that song, I mean, the drummer had this, you know, Noe Molina did
Well,
this
you know, what with bands
killer
that come and go,
rolling
they just-
drum beat with it, you know.
They're moments in time. They're almost like a picture. I mean, however long you spent with your band of brothers, it was good. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I can only imagine. I can't. I'm gonna, you know, when I get a chance, I'm gonna go back and, you know, send me a link or two of some
Yeah.
of the best stuff later.
You
so I
got to
can
hear the full
turn it
band
up.
version of because those
Yeah,
guys
because
really.
this is like Joe Crump, like light beer. Because I know, in a band situation, it'd be more.
Yeah, I mean, that was really a band full of writers. Everybody was a writer. So it was like when you can introduce a song, but it ain't yours when it's done.
Yeah, it's almost like a
anymore.
dream team on basketball. Who gets the ball? You know, everybody can hit. You
Yeah, and
know?
everyone pulls out the scalpel and starts like,
Right.
but it's like it ended up. They really made it, I
Magic.
think, really cool. So, but yeah, I like that one.
Oh, we have our memories, and it sounds like a damn good one for you.
Yeah. Um,
Song number 3.
song number 3. This one is like one of those many songs I guess you do about
The Capo.
relationships where it's like you look back and like what was I thinking, you know? But
You weren't thinking.
it wasn't no. But if you know if you feel like it's a good song, you can't stop playing it. And so the line I use all the time, and I got to come up with something new, but I almost wish I got a tattoo instead. It'd be easier to remove. You know?
And not as painful, no.
Yeah, right, exactly. Too. I'll add that. That can give it a little more flavor. But definitely, like at the time, I broke up with this woman, and the feelings were there. So that's the hard part of it. But in my head, it didn't make sense. It was long distance, and we didn't seem compatible to me.
Right.
But I missed her, and then so I reached out to her to correct my mistake, but she was seeing some other guy, and I wrote this song to kind of steal her back, and it worked.
Ooh.
Or did it?
Oh no. The plot thickens.
Yeah, because I mean, really,
Dun, 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 dun.
I guess maybe my initial decision was right. Nothing wrong with her; she's fine, you know. But it was, I probably screwed it up way more than she did. But
Maybe it's me. I don't
yeah,
know.
you need to have the head and the heart component, you know.
No, you really do.
And we get lonely and whatever, but
I thought I
this
was
is
going to
about-
walk the earth alone, so I get it.
But this is a song of me telling, because she was more follow the heart, and this song is me telling her like, you were right, I should have followed the heart instead of the. but looking back, and it's kind of stupid.
Right.
You know? But anyway, this is called The Head and the Heart. I'm hoping to have this released as like a heavy rock version pretty soon. But
Are you gonna? Well, we'll talk more about that for the interview part.
as I lie awake in my bed, demons dancing round in my head, they won't go away. And they're taunting me, reminding me I'm such a fool. Colors fade, receding from view, and I can see a world without you, it's completely gray. And I'm a stranger here, I wanna disappear into the void. I should've known better than decide with my head instead of my heart. 'Cause it's a fool who ignores love and tries to dispose of that integral part. It's something I learned from you. I guess that's what time can do to the heart. An important question remains. How can I relieve all this pain and this misery? 'Cause it's killing me, and I think I see how it can end. Tell her that I made a mistake, and hope that she'll forgive me and take me back in her arms. And it's the surest way to escape this pain, I do contend. I should have known better than decide with my head instead of my heart. 'Cause it's a fool who ignores love but tries to dispose of that integral part. It's something I learned from you. I guess that's what time can do to the heart. It's something I learned from you. I guess that's what time can do now. It's funny what time can do to the heart.
Another great song is, made you think about stuff, kind of on the sad side. It had some real, wow. I like the fact that you changed it up, man.
I was in a bad place. I was not eating. I was walking, stomping around the house and just, and that song was kind of an outlet for that.
I can tell, like myself, and I know we're not the only ones. We use the instrument as like, it's the cheapest therapist I've ever had, ever. I mean, I don't care what kind of day I'm having, what side this, what side that, whatever, doesn't matter. I get my guitar, and it is. I mean,
it's always there for you.
It is, and it never argues back with you. Tune her back up, just perfect, man. It's my Stepford.
I mean, sometimes the humidity.
Right.
argues a little bit, but yeah. No,
Don't leave it in the trunk, man. Don't leave your guitar in the trunk. No, man, that's a beautiful song.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Lots of you. I use something I say all the time, but it's true. You have that song in particular has lots of emotional content. Lots of it. Like,
I remember when I sent it to her, I was like, nailed it. I mean, I just felt like, how could this not work?
Right.
You know, and it did, because it wasn't just that like I liked it musically. I think the lyrics were everything she wanted to hear. You know, like you were right, I was wrong, forgive me, all this stuff. You know, and so you know, it did what it was supposed to do, and caused me lots of problems in the long run. But anyway, were we on number 4?
Number 4.
Let me see this one. So
Mix it up, chop it up.
Yeah,
you know?
pick it up a little bit. The one thing, I don't know if my stuff is good, but I do know that it's one thing I can confidently say.
No, your stuff is good. I can tell you this. I've worked with close to 1,000 artists over the 30 years I've been doing this, and I'm a pretty incredible judge of talent. I mean, the Lord has blessed me in multiple ways, and that's one of them. And there's no doubt. I mean, like Black Kennedy, I don't know if you're familiar with Michael Kennedy. You need to check him out. And yeah, there's some.
That's the great thing about this city is like I've been pretty deep in the scene for a good 5 years now, and it's like I'm still discovering people all the time.
I know. It's my first time seeing Sundance Head, and I've been here 30 years and born in the Astrodome almost. Craziness.
This is a song that I kind of. I was really into how deep is your light. No, your eyes in the morning sun. You know yeah. So it's like I'm really
the Bee Gees.
I'm really exposing myself here. They have about
I'm the one that talk.
They have about 3 or 4 songs that I love. I mean, that's kind of it. But those, I mean, and
some of the greatest vocalists ever. Anybody who's been, I will defend the Bee Gees. Amazing.
Well, the chord progressions like. I really need a love. Like that's just like it hits you every time.
Right.
So like I kind of ripped off from that a little bit, and so you'll hear
got
that.
a little BG in there.
Yeah, but you know, change the rhythm, change the melody. It's yours.
That's right.
And so this one I wrote about.
It's your own fingerprint.
Yeah, I was in. I didn't have I alternate Christmases with my ex-wife, and so I didn't have my son, and my new girlfriend at the time didn't have her kid either, and she's like, let's go to Cozumel for Christmas, like just kind of. I was like, that's a great idea. So we went there, and then
was it your first time?
I had been before with family, so this is a little different.
Right.
And we basically like fought the whole time, and so which ironically allowed me the time to write the song because we were so angry and upset that I took a day apart. So the song's very endearing. And doesn't have any of that element in it, so you wouldn't know that from the song. And there's times when she'd be talking to me, and I'd be like, "Leave me alone! I'm writing a song about you."
Right. Come on.
But you know, that's
go
kind
get in
of
the refrigerator and cool off. I'll be with you in just a second.
You know, there's references to her like with the big brown eyes and black hair, and that sort of thing, but mainly it's just being in love in Cozumel. And this is it. So. Can be so hard anytime that we're apart. When I hold you close, jubilation overload. So run away with me to an island in the sea. Never saw the sky so blue. I'm so in love with you. Life is better making love by the seashell. When we're in Cozumel, I'm underneath the spell. Don't wanna say farewell to paradise. And at the ocean side, almost nothing more sublime. What else could compare? Big brown eyes and long black hair. Lips and tongues collide. this gas on blue. I'm so in love with you. Life is better making love by the seashell. When we're in Cozumel, I'm underneath the spell. Don't wanna say farewell to paradise. Imagine this is like a sax solo. Never saw this gas on blue. I'm so in love with you. Life is better making love by the seashell. When we're in Cozumel, I'm underneath the spell. Your love's a citadel. I wrote this song to tell you just how deep I fell. In love with you, my belle. Don't wanna say farewell to paradise.
Man, killer song. Total, almost like I'm going to say Jack Johnson, but it had that island vibe.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
no, it's got that vibe to it.
It really does. Cozumel, oh my gosh.
The chords scare me a little bit at the end because there's like this kind of like
Oh,
this like Elton John type stuff.
Yeah,
I don't even
no,
know
it's
what
out
that
there.
is, but
oh, nice song. Good stuff, man.
I'm a bit of a chord nerd. Like there's nothing wrong with a 3-chord like Tom Petty type song.
Right,
I just have
right.
trouble writing those types of
Right.
songs, and I have mad respect for.
Yeah.
There's a lot of local artists who like Mary Hammer and other people who write really good, 3 chords in the truth, strong melody, storytelling.
And when, like I said, my particular style, because I play in drop C tuning and I do a thing, percussive tapping, like Eddie Van Halen, but more rhythm. I can actually go, and I miss you now, and do it. And then I go to my kumbaya chords, which are like basic chords to my finger tapping. But it's just been such an amazing trip to, you're inspiring me right now. I mean, I want to go home and play my 12-string, leave the studio. You're inspiring me to go play. And that's what I love about the scene so much. All these amazing artists. And, I might not have it might have been another 2 or 3 years that I've run across, our paths run across each other if it wasn't for Mark and the Houston Songwriters Association and Dan Electros.
Yeah.
Because I also found, what was the singer there? Young lady playing the keyboard. She played right before you, Celeste.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't suck. She's really good at what she
It's
does.
really great. It's so young,
At that level, just amazing. Song number 5?
Yeah, let's do, are we doing
7.
Are we on time? Seven?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
3 more to go.
Let's do, we can slow it down again. This is one I'm proud of.
Should be proud of all of them because they're all good.
Thank you. This one is definitely, this one is on Spotify, Apple Music, all that good stuff under my name, Joseph Crump. I always use a guy named Wes Bailey in Nashville who plays in a band called Moon Taxi. They
Cool
come
name.
they come to Houston, they sell out like last concert and Warehouse Live, and on the East Coast they just
Are they original?
yeah, and they just
wow.
like you can't see where the people end, but he's just a genius on the keys, and I've never met the guy,
Right.
but like we've done a whole bunch of songs together. So he plays keys on the recording, and then a local artist named Andy Mack.
I've heard the name before.
Yeah, just easily in my top 5 probably, or at least probably top 5 in Houston. Tremendous songwriter, has new music coming out finally after 2.5 years working on an album. He goes by the name Dragon Resort now, and he's just a killer.
If you ever need a session guitar player, also a super world-class producer, and one of the best guitar players in the world, check out Houston legend Eric Avenger. Check out any of his stuff.
Yeah.
He makes me feel like the Karate Kid, like the sensei. Like I'll wash his cars for a week, and he'll show me a lick.
Yeah. Well, then in the chorus, you can probably imagine the chorus. You can probably imagine the harmonies, but he does these beautiful harmonies in the chorus, and I wish he was here to do it with me. But this is called "The Town Without a Name," and it's kind of this idea of like a fictional dystopian future where, you know, like everyone gets so tribal and in their own like information spheres that like people are like individual tribes and they can't agree on anything.
Is this going to be a made-for-TV movie? Because it sounded pretty good.
It sounds like frighteningly plausible. You know, you talk to people who can't seem to agree on like time of day anymore.
Right.
Because everyone can sort of pick their own little niche.
Right.
And the freedom of media choice is a good thing, but it's not without its drawbacks in a way.
Right.
And
I agree
and
with
so
you.
no one in this town can agree on anything, so it's the town without a name. But and it's sort of about isolation and the fraying of relationships over that sort of thing. And I hope you like it. Okay. Start again here. Over the hills and past the evergreen, there's a place where we can go if we want to live in perfect harmony with the things we think we know, and magic spells and broken wedding bells, and the river tells a song to tell. Changing times and loaded nursery rhymes fan the flame in the town without a name. And all of the people live alone and free. Isolation so extreme, carefully choosing their own paradigm and their own Orwellian dream. And magic spells and broken wedding bells, and the river tells a song to tell. Changing times and loaded nursery rhymes fan the flame in the town without a name. And isolation so extreme, if you become your own regime of tyranny, so hard to see what's real. And magic spells and broken wedding bells, and the river tells a song to tell. The changing times and loaded nursery rhymes fan the flame in the town without a name.
Another beautiful song.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I was learning Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You by Led Zeppelin. It was the same finger style.
Oh, yeah.
And I started kind of going off in my own direction. And I think,
Right.
like just learning songs can sometimes.
Anytime you can cross with a musical genius like Jimmy Page, oh my God.
I mean, probably
That guy was like, I'm telling you, man, I'm
absolute hero.
I mean, I know there's the devil and stuff, and there's stories about his castle, and because the music is just so ahead of its time. It's just like you were no other guitar players. I mean, granted, Jeff Beck, Clapton, Hendrix, right around that same period. Just
There's-
so many amazing players.
But I mean, like Led Zeppelin really changed everything for me. I was really, I was into I was 13 when Nirvana and all those bands came out, so that was like what an age for that all to happen,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So I feel like that music was for me, and I was really into that, and Guns N' Roses before that, and some of the '80s rock bands, and Def Leppard and all that. But when Led Zeppelin came, it just kicked the doors off everything because it was like, especially Led Zeppelin 3 has like almost every genre you could imagine on it, and I just thought this is like rock and roll can bring all these elements in, and it sort of, I think it helped me to diversify my musical intake, to this day I don't think I'll ever have a favorite a rock band that I like more than them.
Did you ever, one of my favorite rock bands ever, just amazing how much music they put out as a three-piece. I even tried to get them back together about 10 years ago, and I know it was never going to happen and stuff, but his lyrics and the way the guy plays and sings at the level he does, oh my God, he's just so amazing. You remember a band called Triumph? His name was Rick Emmett. They call him Rick the Rocket Emmett. Check out the band Triumph Greatest Hits, and wow, something about the water in Canada, April Wine, Rush, Bryan Adams, just a bunch of star players out there. But yeah, check out Triumph whenever you get a chance. Really great rock band. He could hit notes that they would have to step on our grapes for us to hit. He's got that kind of voice.
Yeah, for sure.
Number 6, we got 2 more songs.
This is a more recent one. It's kind of strange times we're living.
Tell me about it.
And I felt like
the world is on fire.
Yeah, I really I've been through elections where my guy lost and all that, but it was like this last one was like, I guess the song is really kind of about trying to understand how good and intelligent people can support what I think is just completely indefensible.
Well, we can agree to disagree.
Yeah. So I, we don't have to go into details about it, but that's sort of the nature of the song, is like how to.
I'm just hoping and praying that we can all survive and thrive a little bit. And just see, I just hope, I want to see what happens first. I want to see a little bit, not, after a month or two. I'm just hoping that for all of us, things chill, because there's so many people that hated us 50 years ago, hated our guts. Just we're infidels to a lot of people, and it's just so crazy out there. I just wish we could all get along, because that's what I really want. I ain't gonna lie to you, if there were superheroes and I was Superman, and I hate to do it, I would, we're not supposed to go around taking out dictators and stuff, but I don't want to get into that stuff. But anyway, I just wish we could all get along a lot better, and I think music is bridging a lot of it together. I think in the long run, music is going to make a big difference in everybody's life. I think it's so important, man, because I just want it to be good for my grandkids and your son, and and it's not going to happen in our lifetime, but I think we could have world peace one day, I hope.
Yeah, well, I took a class called The Politics of War, and I left it thinking like, no, we're never going to have world peace, but because people are people. But I thought the one thing we could all agree on was the sanctity of democracy, and I guess I was wrong, but this is kind of like trying to figure out like how sort of everything can change in a few hours, and trying to struggle to feel like where you fit into that new world, and of course, we all want the best for everybody, no matter what happens. But as the downward trend of inflation starts to spike back up as a result of tariffs and stuff, it's like
Yep, some wild stuff happening.
I hate being right. So anyway, this is called I don't know if it's a place where you belong or where you belong. It's one of those, but I don't know. We'll see. But probably where you belong. Shorter is better if you're not sure what to call it. So. Yesterday's always gone. The memory lingers on. You think you know right from wrong. You think you found a place where you look at you so confused. The world is upside down. And now that you're disabused, corruption wears the crown. And you thought you understood the darkness and the light. And you didn't think you could all your faith in everyone tonight. And how do you reconcile the conflict in your heart? You try to maintain your smile. Soul is torn apart. And you thought you understood the darkness and the light. And you didn't think you could lose all your faith in everyone. Out the ending yet, but I kind of want to Layla it, like just kind of do
You've
like
got such good stuff, Joe. I mean, you're definitely not an average Joe when it comes to the songwriting. There ain't no doubt about that, man. Good stuff, good solid stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, we have one more song by Joseph Crump, and then we're going to have the interview portion, which I'm really looking forward to. Tell us a little bit about the song number 7.
I think this one I'll do is kind of like, it's in a similar vein, but it's meant to be like more kind of a humorous, like, when you start having like a really contentious debate over something like religion or politics, and in the first couple of minutes it's not going anywhere. Right away, but you keep arguing anyway.
Spinning your wheels.
Yeah,
like, get me out of here.
And then you think at some point, like, what a stubborn idiot or whatever. And then, but at some point, if you're a reflective person, I hope that I can be sometimes at least. And you start to think, if I knew early on this wasn't going anywhere and I kept arguing, maybe I'm the stubborn idiot,
Maybe a little tiny.
Maybe a little bit. So I wrote this.
But you do have a really great way with words, and I pay attention, just so you know.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And so I wrote this in the hope that I would maybe become less of a Facebook warrior, and it clearly hasn't worked. But I got, once again, you get a song out of it. So
My favorite is my buddy Hank Lamb.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I love him.
Yeah, there's sometimes like there will be like a post he put that I'm like, oh, I want to like revisit that, and then it's like on the day of, and you go down and it's like 16 posts. Someone, it's like wow, but yeah, passionate. So anyway, this is called "Staring at the Sun."
Without your shades on. No.
Right. Well, that's kind of what it feels like at times.
Right.
I don't need it, but it's like, how are you on profanity? Okay. Don't need it. Just, I'm glad I asked.
Right.
It's not essential to the song.
Right, yeah.
So it's not like the end of that Rage Against the Machine song. It couldn't be like, screw you, I won't do it. It wouldn't work, would it? So. To death, but could you please shut the heck up just for a sec? With every breath you make it hard for me to give you respect. It's not that you're stupid or even deluded, but on this one subject you might be a little befuddled. Your thinking is muddled. I just wanna help to set you free. Laid out the facts and I hope in vain that you will open your eyes. Your verbal attacks don't give me faith that you will soon realize that you're mistaken. You need to take in new information as it comes, but you're so unbending. This is unending. I feel like I'm staring at the sun. But I can't change your mind. Maybe it's best if I leave it alone. I think you're fine, but I can tell that you're set in stone. But after a while I start to reflect. If I have no effect on your which one of us is stupid and thick? Am I impolitic if I keep this going? Oh, I need this right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joseph Crump, you sounded fantastic. We're going to take a short little break, and then we'll be back with the interview portion of the show. So we'll see you back in just a few minutes.
Car enthusiasts of Conroe, FM 104.5 and 106.1 Lone Star Community Radio invites you to shift into gear every Monday from 1 to 2 with Cruising Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy for news on all things automotive in the greater Houston-Conroe area. Can't make a live show? We've got you covered. You can find all of our uncut content, including full episodes on Spotify, iTunes, Play Store, YouTube, Facebook, and irlonestar.com. Again, that's Mondays 1 to 2, Cruising Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy. See you there.
Welcome, everybody, back to Texas Songwriters Alliance Audio Impact on Lone Star Community Radio. I'm your host, Alex Lozano, and we are here with our special musical guest, Joe Crump. And, brother, you sound fantastic. I had such a good time. I'm so glad that Mark said, you need to come to this Monday showcase. We got some really good singer-songwriters. And we got Celeste here first, and then we got you here. Was it your mom, dad, or was it an uncle? Who's the first one who put the guitar in your hand?
I guess it was my brother, but not well, we were going to start a band together, and I was going to play drums. He was going to play guitar, and I got a CD player instead, and I didn't end up getting drums.
I remember Van Halen did that.
Yeah, something like that, right? And so his bedroom was on the way to the restroom, and I kept walking by and looking at this white Mexican Strat that was just kind of really intriguing to me. And I kept going in there and playing and learning Green Day and then Pearl Jam, and then once I started playing Led Zeppelin, I was like, maybe I can do this.
Yeah, right.
And but it's his guitar in his room.
You're playing some Jimmy Page, and you can cover all the other stuff, no problem.
So about 573 fights later, my folks got me my own guitar.
Right.
Because they were like, he's kind of focused on this, and everything was by ear then. There was no YouTube, so you had to like really.
Mom, dad, uncle, musically inclined. Any of them put a little music behind you?
Yeah, my dad was a classically trained pianist. Played a lot of Chopin and
Mozart and all that stuff, all the classical stuff.
Yeah,
the real difficult stuff.
Yeah, and my mom was just singing all the time, great singer, and then. There was always music in the house, a lot of stuff with harmonies. They really liked. So there's a lot of
I bet you she loved the Carpenters.
Yeah, and then a lot of Beach Boys. Right. That's kind of their thing, you know. And then the Beatles songs were the ones with harmonies, like Nowhere Man. And,
right.
And that sort of thing. And there was a lot of that. Roy Orbison was in my house a lot.
Have you heard Stevie Ray Vaughan's version of Taxman?
Yeah. It's great.
Oh my God!
It's great.
What a loss there. What is this? Your Collins? I guess this is your new favorite acoustic guitar at the moment.
Yeah, like I was saying, my buddy, I had a Washburn that was, I didn't hate it, but I went to my friend's house and I played his Collins Dreadnought, and I just started.
Is that the first? When did you hear a Colin and then you put your hands on it?
That was like about 5 years ago. I played it, and
you're like,
just,
oh, jeez.
I just changed everything, and I just kept having just like dreams about it. And so I saw a Dreadnought Collins at Guitar Center for $2,900.
Yeah.
And I told my friend about it, and he was like, that's way cheaper than what I paid. You need to buy that guitar.
Holy moly.
And especially, like inflation's thing everywhere, but guitar inflation's been crazy.
Right.
So now they're, but I got it used for that, and I wasn't allowed to buy anything. This is during my divorce. So my buddy, I was like, look, I know I'm in the house sale at the end of the divorce. I know I'm going to get enough. So like I can prove with documents that I'll be able to pay you back, but like I need something, man. I'm dying here.
Right.
So,
I got to fix, man. It needs to be handled.
And I was getting used to sharing custody, so it was a rough time. And that Collins Dreadnought really got me through some stuff. So
got your therapist.
A lot of songs came out of it.
Right.
So
and we'd rather have your songs than you go and post in Walmart or whatever.
Yeah, and I'll probably play a lot more acoustic than electric. It's just kind of there, and
it matches your voice. You have a real smooth delivery. And you're a good singer.
Thank you.
And you match up with your music. You don't sing overly. You don't. Some singer-songwriters I feel like they try too hard, and they miss the mark. Sometimes when they could be just let it go. Sometimes I just think some artists, and then of course. Nobody loves your music more than you do, kind of deal. And,
they're all like my babies,
So this is the next question here, in no particular order. Tell us your main influences musically?
I like a big one for me has been like Stevie Wonder. I really love.
I wouldn't have seen that coming. We know you like the Bee Gees.
Well, yeah, but it's the same. Like, How Deep Is Your Love, and a lot of the chords in the last song are from "Love's in Need of Love" by Stevie Wonder.
Oh, okay.
And so a lot of those, like Billy Joel, Stevie Wonder, the Bee Gees,
Elton
Elton John, are like piano. Brian Wilson, like piano songwriters.
Brian Wilson, Beach Boys, right?
Yeah. So like songs written on piano, it's a different approach.
Yeah.
And really, like when I talk to guitar players who are like in a rut, guitars, I'm like, try learning like a Stevie Wonder or Billy Joel, and
Kind of like adds a little boost to them. Like,
yeah. And
look at it this way.
And some of the chord voicings and some of the like, you'll learn some really cool jazzy chords that guitar players tend to favor more.
I've heard that. I hear that in your music. Some little jazzy-ish riffs, stuff that you do that you've made sound a little more commercial.
Yeah. And so
know,
a
on
lot of it
purpose.
is
You can tell it's done on
a
purpose.
lot of it's from that, like those piano songs. So that's been a huge influence. But then I also really love like Gillian Welch or Gillian Welch. I always get that wrong. And I listen to a lot of bluegrass, and so and I'm a big jazz guy. I'm kind of all over the place. I listen to a ton of.
If it sounds
Tool.
good, it is good.
Yeah, I listen to a ton of Tool, like Zeppelin, Radiohead, Muse. I love all
Well,
this stuff.
I'm going to turn you on to a progressive rock band that I discovered out of San Antonio. Now they're making, they don't return my calls anymore. It's okay. But check out a band called Nothing More. They make good bands look bad. I mean, they're just super progressive rock and just another amazing band that I think you should check out when you can. Do you listen to any country music at all?
I love it. I like, I mentioned her earlier, like Mary Hammer's, like, I think she's as good as any, like a real Patsy Cline kind of vibe.
Oh, wow.
And, but then also, like, I like the Flatlanders, and I was watching the old Robin Hood with my son the other day. All that Roger Miller stuff is great,
Right,
all
right,
that stuff,
right.
Every town
Right,
has
right.
its ups and
Right.
I love that stuff.
Old school.
Of course, like, Willie Nelson has a lot of cool, like, chords you wouldn't normally associate with country, like half diminished chords and stuff.
No, he's
Angel Flying Too Close to the Ground.
prolific songwriter.
Oh
my God.
So I love country. Yeah,
Yeah.
there isn't really a genre that I don't like. I just think that certain genres will tend to produce music I like more than others, but occasionally.
Definitely try to show up to rehab to meet all these wonderful ladies. I think it's an all-ladies showcase, and it's just amazing singers. I think you would connect, and because I know you like to have different artists on your show and how you pick them and stuff like that. But I'm always just trying to connect people. Tell us a little something about you that some people don't know, and we're wrapping up our interview now. It was been a crazy day for Joe. The gods were working against him. He barely made it out of his garage. Train held him up, but he made it here. We really appreciate you being on here. But tell us a little something that maybe some people might not know about you.
I was eighth grade history teacher for 12 years.
Oh, wow. History,
yeah.
Okay.
So the focus is American history up until Reconstruction, and I think the system is really bad and sort of sucking all the fun out of it. It worries me because my son is an HISD.
Right.
But I did that for 12 years, and I love it. I really miss it, and people act like, oh, yeah, those teenagers. Like, no, that was the best part. The kids were the best part. The interaction and a kid telling me that I didn't like history until 8th grade. Like, that's why you do it. But also, like, the aspects of teaching, like managing a classroom, being able to, like, really create an environment that's conducive to learning, even with really difficult kids.
Right.
To me, was a really good feeling and a tremendous accomplishment if you have... because I was often given some of the most difficult kids.
Sure.
When they first started doing that, I was like, am I being punished? And they were like,
No. But you ended up influencing them in a very positive way. Because the show is starting to wind up here, tell us some people you'd be thankful for. That's something that we do on our show. We give a thanks, a shout out to, I'm sure there's 2 or 3 people in your life that you might not be here without them, you know?
Yeah, I guess I would start with my parents, of course, and they're no longer with us. I lost my dad to cancer fall of 2023, and my mom to a car accident in December 2012.
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you, but
I know they'd be real proud of you, because I know outside of the music, I know you're a real solid dude, and
thank you.
there's
And
no doubt. I got a real good feeling about you.
and I appreciate that. And they always kind of, they loom large in my mind all the time. I feel like they're kind of always there. And I'm really thankful for movers and shakers on the scene, you and Mark and other people that are like really kind of making things happen. And I think that a lot of people don't really realize that like these sort of things, shows like this, showcases, don't happen without that sort of enthusiasm.
And now we're bringing Dick into the fold here, and he's doing amazing things. With that being said, please let people know that we are a nonprofit. This thing doesn't happen without. He's been here 11 years now. He's kicking ass and taking numbers. And my head, if I was doing what he's doing, my hair would be gray. You know, the shit that I'm sure he has to put up with, and then me, you know.
I got my engineer is like my hero too, Blake Rizzo.
Yeah.
Like everything you hear in like.
Oh yeah, that's your MacGyver.
That's my dude. It doesn't happen without him, and he's also not just technically great, but really good at working with the people, really patient. I feel like I could ask for the most unreasonable thing, and he'd be like, "Oh no problem."
Right. So as we're wrapping it up, I want to thank my new sponsors, Hatchet House and Axe. Masters, Texas. I'm putting on an axe throwing championship. I know it has nothing to do with music, but I do music, and I'm putting this thing together. So if anybody out there wants to get into a very competitive hatchet throwing competition, it starts March the 14th. I'll be talking more about that as we get a little bit closer to the date. I want to thank Music News for always sponsoring me and believing in me and the radio station. J Lamb's Premier Rock Rage Radio, all of the people that helped me give me the inspiration to be here so I can be with people like Joe Crump and work with such an amazing artist that I get to work with, because y'all just make it so easy. It's like, how they say, and it's, to me, it's a little bit on the bullshit side when they say, oh, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. Let me tell you what, that's bullshit. You work twice as hard. Mm-hmm. And, that's just the way I feel about that. Oh, before I forget, because I missed it at the beginning of the show, at Rehab, they're having a girl showcase. My girl Emily Glisner is showcasing it. Sherry B.D. is going to be there, and a whole bunch of great singers, way too many for me, but it's going to be this Sunday at Rehab. If you love female singers, be there, trying to talk Joseph into going and hanging out with us, and just some amazing singers. Take care of your Valentine if you have one. If you don't, I'm lucky enough to have one. Kimberly, I can't wait to see you for Valentine's. I love you, and thank you, Joe, for being on here. You're a fantastic musician. I'm so glad that Mark invites me to those Monday showcases, and be sure to follow and like Joe, see what he's up to. He's doing a whole bunch of stuff. Doesn't have anything coming up right now. Oh, tell us real quick the name of your show.
We call it the Commonwealth Sessions because that's the street where my house is. We stream it from the.
I'm familiar with
the
that.
Fourth floor
Commonwealth.
Of the house. Yeah. And so we got this room with like all these guitars on the wall and vinyls, and that's the background, and we invite some songwriters to sort of take turns, and really we don't expect a ton of people to watch, but the whole thing is really just giving people content.
Yeah.
Because at the end of it, you get to keep the audio and video files, and there's
Sure.
stunning
No,
amount
it's
of
keepsakes. It's really promoting the artist, and I like that a lot.
What makes us happy is if someone has something they can actually put on Spotify or something, because I know it's immensely frustrating for a lot of artists to see on social media people releasing stuff, and it's like it makes you feel like you should be, and you don't have the time or the money.
I can't wait to come over there and check it out. Well, guys, we have ran out of time here at Audio Impact. Joe, thank you again for being a part of our show, and again, I want to thank Dick Sisler, the head guy of Lone Star Community Radio, because he's always putting this stuff together, and we could really use your donations and everything. Go out and support local music. Go make a difference in the local music scene, and we'll see you next week. God bless, and take care.